This is an 11-minute trailer of a 2-hour film giving my tribute to the great man himself, Ralph Reeder, CBE. For more details, check my website. Ralph Reeder left English shores for New York at the age of 18 to try and make himself a name in show business. To begin at the start of his life, we have to visit a quiet town in Somerset called Crewkerne. Ralph's parents were both in the Salvation Army, his father being the leader of the local Salvation Army band. In the year 2000, the local civic society put a blue plaque where he was born, and in the local museum is some memorabilia of Ralph's life, plus the family organ, for instance, which no doubt Ralph himself played his first few notes. I'm sorry about that, but that's the only tune I can play. This is Ralph, age 4 years old, with his father in 1907. When Ralph was 3 years old, his mother died, and his father died when he was 9, both from consumption. And when Ralph was 12, he was suspected of having TB. The hospital said Ralph should take a long holiday by the sea as the air would do him good. It just so happened that his uncle, Fred Frost, had just got married and was living in a small cottage near the south coast at Denton, near Seaford and New Haven. His new aunt made Ralph so welcome he started to call her Mum. And another bonus was his aunt's father, who was a market gardener with a fruit and veg round in Seaford. He immediately took Ralph under his wing and taught him the business. So from the age of 12, Ralph never went to school. His new granddad, Musgrove, with his horse and cart, would go into Brighton every Friday afternoon to fetch supplies, which meant stopping overnight. One Friday he said to Ralph, "Now then, young Ralphers, how would you like to go to Brighton with me and see some young ladies prancing around on the stage?" Ralph jumped at the chance, so that over the next few years every Friday night was spent at the Brighton Hippodrome. Ralph had caught the stage bug. He also caught the scouting bug, as next door to Rose Cottage was the local church where the local scout troop met. Ralph had always wanted to join the scouts, and he took to it like a duck to water. We now jump a few years until Ralph was 18. When an aunt in America said she could get Ralph into show business if he came over. There was no stopping Ralph. He could not pack his bag soon enough, and soon it was full steam ahead. On the voyage he would ask the American passengers who was the biggest name in show business in America, and the answer was always the same: Al Jolson. Little did Ralph know that later on in life he would meet up with Al Jolson and become great friends. But what a disappointment when he found out his aunt only knew someone who dressed someone, and all they could give them was agents' names. So it was starting from rock bottom, going round doing the rounds for auditions and having to find a job to keep body and soul together. Whilst working at Lords and Taylors, he spent his leisure hours spending his hard-earned cash on dancing, elocution and deportment lessons at the studios on 53rd Street. So it was 8 to 6, 6 days a week opening crates, then 7 till midnight, 6 evenings a week at the studio and all day Sunday. He had a lot to learn about show business and he knew he got some tall ladders to climb. The lessons paid off, and by the time he was 21, he was producing dance routines on 3 Broadway shows with his name on the programme and on the billboards outside. Over the next few years he was in great demand, and through the show business grapevine his name reached London, and he was headhunted to do the dance routines of a big new musical at the Palace Theatre in Shaftesbury Avenue. London had never seen anything like this. The show was a great success. The chorus line caught the imagination of the audience. The critics gave it rave reviews. London went mad about it. Everybody was asking, who is this Englishman with an American accent? And where does he come from? The chorus line took 3 curtain calls, unheard of on an opening night. It was Hayden Dimmock, the editor of the Scout magazine, whose eyes caught the name of Ralph Reeder. He called in at the stage door to see Ralph and asked him, was he the same Ralph Reeder who wrote to him about a sick rabbit many years ago? And Ralph said, yes, he was. This meeting eventually led up to the first gang show, which started in 1932. The followings are clips of history of the gang show and of Ralph.
Of a wave and the world is